Hello and welcome to another OSPF video. In this video, we will discuss about why OSPF area, OSPF area 0 and other OSPF areas, configuration of OSPF areas, path selection, inter area and intra area. So why OSPF area? Before why OSPF area, we should know what is OSPF area. OSPF area is a logical grouping of routers, or more specifically a logical grouping of router interfaces. So as we see in this tutorial, we have area 1, area 0 and area 2. Router 2, two interfaces is in area 1. Router 4, router 3 and router 1, one interfaces in this area. So logically we have grouped this area, and also this interface and this interface is also in area 0, and router 5 another interfaces is in area 2. There might be a question why we are using areas. As we know, all routers within the same OSPF area maintains an identical copy of the link state database. OSPF link state database contains LSA, link state advertisement. LSAs are packets containing details about the router interfaces, neighboring routers, and network links. Each router in an OSPF network generates LSAs and flags them to all other routers within the same areas. The major point is about the flags of LSAs. So just imagine if we have 100 routers in here. So 100 routers will generate 100 LSAs. Each interface will generate LSAs. So as router receives LSAs, it will process the LSAs and it will utilize the router processors and CPU, RAM, and it will utilize our router. To overcome that issue, OSPF is dividing routers within different areas, because in each area there will be a designated router and backup designated router. So all the routers will maintain a connection to designated router. For example, in this topology, let's imagine that router 1 is our designated router. So all the router will establish connection to router 1. Then they will send and receive information to router 1, and router 1 will distribute information among of them. So this is the logic behind of area of OSPF. In OSPF we have different areas. For example, in here we have area 1, area 0 and area 2. The major point is area 0. Area 0 is the backbone of our network. So whenever area 1 wants to communicate with area 2, the area 1 needs to go through area 0 to reach area 2, and vice versa. Area 2 needs to communicate with area 0, then can communicate with area 1, because area 0 will distribute information and LSS between these areas. In each area we have a area border router. In this topology we have two area border router. One is this, and another is this for area 2. For area 1 we have two routers. For area 2 we have one border area router. What is a border area router? Is OSPF router connected to area 0 and another area. So area 0 is specially called backbone. By design, all areas must connect to area 0 because OSPF expects all areas to inject routing information into backbone, and area 0 advertise the routes into other areas. The backbone area is crucial to preventing routing loops. So this was regarding to areas and OSPF areas. Now let's configure OSPF areas. I have already configured it in router 2. Now we will start on router 4. So in router 4, if we see the interfaces, show IP interface brief, we have network 12 and network 13. Network 12 is this, network 13 is this. Both the networks are in area 1. So now we need to configure OSPF in area 1. Also, Loopback 1 is an area 1, it's for demonstration purpose, and 4.4.4 is loopback 0, which we will use it for as a router ID. Now let's config terminal router OSPF1, and to this command we are going to start the router process to OSPF1 router ID is 4.4.4.4. We have networks 172.16.0.0 with subnet with world mark cost of 0.0.255.255 in area 1. Done. Then we have to advertise our second network 12.0.0.0.255.255 area 1, and also network 13. We will do the same process for all the router. Show IP protocol to determine it. So as we see, we are routing for this 3 network using this router ID. Now let's go to another router 3. So in router 3, we need to do the same configuration. Router OSPF1, router ID is 3.3.3.3, network 13.0.0.0.0.255.255.255. Area 1, and also 14, also network 14. Done. And also network 11. Show IP protocol. So we are routing for 11, 13, 14. Networks. Now we need to do also clear IP OSPF process. Yes. Show IP OSPF neighbors. Now it's okay. Show IP OSPF neighbors. So we have 2 neighbors. One is router 2, which is already I have configured, and another one is 4.4. As we discussed earlier, this is default, this is designated router. And now let's configure router 1. Show IP protocol. Through show IP protocol, we can determine which protocol is currently running in our routers. Config terminals, OSPF 1, router ID is 1.1.1, network 11.0.0.0.255.255.255 area 1. Done. Show IP protocol, we are using this one. Done. Show IP root. Now it's GC. Show IP root. Show IP OSPF neighbor to determine our neighborship, and also show IP root. Done. So this network 172.16.0.0, which is this network, is coming into router 1, which is this is the router. This is in another subnet, and this is another subnet. Through OSPF, these 2 router are reachable. Now let's ping it. It is reachable. So till now we have configured this site. Now we need to configure this site. Let's start from area 2 router. Show IP interface brief. Config terminal, router OSPF 1, router IDs, router 5, 5.5.5.5 network. Which network we have? 10.0.0.0 as an area 0, and 172 this network is in area 1. Now we are advertising in area 0 or injecting routes into area 0, 0 dot 255 255 255 area 0. And also now we need to inject network 172.15.0.0 with submit wild marks of this in area 1. Exit show IP protocol. So 10 network is in area 0, 172.15 is in area 1. Now let's say about our neighborship. Show IP OSPF neighbor. There is no neighbor because we haven't configured it in this two router. Now let's go to router 1 again. Config terminal router OSPF 1 network 10.0.0.0.0.255.255.255 in area 0. So whenever we are configuring router one interface in area 0 and another interface in area 1, this router will be our area border router, ASBR. Now let's wait for some time. The neighborship will be established. Show IP OSPF neighbor done. That's the message. Show IP OSPF neighbor done. So we have two neighbors now, also with the router 5. If we go to router 5 routing table, this network now should be present in router 5 routing table as a show IP route. Now let's see that this network is present. Now we need to configure this router also. Enable show IP, config terminal router OSPF1 network 10.0.0.0 with 0.255.255.255 area 0. So now the router 5 will be in neighborship with two router, router 2 and also router 1. Show IP OSPF neighbor done. It's with neighborship with router 1, also with neighborship with router 2. If we see now the show IP route, it is saying that 172.60 is coming from via router 10.0.0 gigabyte interface 0/0/0. It means it is coming from this route. So now let's talk about path selection of OSPF. How OSPF is selecting the best path. As we know that each OSPF interface has a cost. To see that, we need to run this command show IP OSPF interface diff. We see that the cost is 1. So now let's trace that network off. Trace 172.16.0.111. It is saying that I am going to through 10.0.0.2, then I am reaching 12.0.0.4, then I am reaching to this network. So it means that it's coming like this, then here and then here. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 and also plus 1. If we see to show IP route, now it is saying that it is 3 up away from me. 1 from here, 1 from here, and 1 from this router to this network. So it is 3. Whenever OSPF is selecting area, now we will discuss about inter area and intra area. Inter area means a route which is coming from another area to area 0. So let's see this option. What it says? It says it is OSPF. I capital mean enter, A means enter area. So it says that this route is coming from another area to area 0 with using of OSPF protocol with 3 metric. So metric is the calculation of total cost from a source to a destination. So we can change this route by modifying the cost of each interfaces. So let's modify this interface, and this router will not choose this path. It will go to this path. So now let's see, the cost of this path is 1 and we want to modify it. For better understanding of OSPF path selection, config terminal, and let's see which interfaces do show IP interface brief. So 12 is our gigabyte 0/0/0 config terminal interface gigabyte 0/0/0. IP OSPF cost 13. We have modified the cost of this interface. Now this router will run shortest path algorithm to determine which path is shortest path. Now it must go through this route. Now let's go to router 5 again. Now it is via 10.0.0.2. In next option it should go to another way. Show IP route. It says that 172.0.6/32 is available via these two routes. Because this path cost is also 20. Now let's see router 1 interface cost. Show IP OSPF interface brief. Cost is 1. So it must go to that route. Let's see again. Clear IP OSPF process. Yes, this is show IP route. Let's see the cost of this interface. Enable do show IP OSPF interface cost. Show IP OSPF interface brief gigabyte/0/0 cost is 15. It should go to that area. Let's see show IP route. Let's find why it's not going to that way. It's working. If you are going to trace the route, let's see. Now we are tracing the routes from to 172.16. In previous, it was going from this direction to this direction, but now it is going from this direction. Let's see. It's coming to this router, then it's going to 11 network, then it's coming to 13 network, then reaching that area. Because OSPF is calculating based on metric. So now let's talk about intro area intro area paths. So now we are going to router 1 to determine that the router will always prefer intro area routes over inter area. What does it mean? For example, if we have this network in area 1, if this route has more cost compared to the route which is coming through area 0, the router will always prefer intra-area routes. Now we will increase the cost of this interface to 32 for demonstration purpose. So IP OSPF cost 32. So we have changed the OSPF cost. Show IP OSPF interface brief. We see that the cost is now 32. So if we calculate from here to this area is 32, 32 plus 1 is 33, 33 plus 1 is 34. Now let's see, show IP route 35, 32, 34, 35, sorry 32 to here, 1 plus 33 and 1 plus 35. I don't know, it should be 34 but it's 35, so no matter. So 172.11 is coming from OSPF with the cost of 35 via 11. So if we go through this part, it will be 1, 2 and 3. If we go through this part, so 32 plus 1, 33 plus 1, 34. So I don't know why it's showing 35, it should be 34, but in any case it is choosing this path rather on this path. So this was the lesson about OSPF. I hope people understand. If there is any question, you can comment in comment section. This is a little bit tricky lessons. So for now, goodbye.